Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Self-isolation is not a prison sentence, but it's the safest way to protect the people around you from possibly getting sick. Continue to comfortably buy your groceries and whatever you need, even when in quarantine. Use Coop Bank's e-banking to transfer funds to a close friend or family member's account and get them to do your shopping for you. Log on to www.grenadacoopbank.com and sign up for Coop Bank's e-banking.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to be from Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being their friends for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to send money to friends or family. E-payments, a swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
You are offered a wonderful opportunity to win a grocery coupon to the tune of EC $250, redeemable at any of the food fairs. All you've got to do to qualify is like, share, comment, and follow EDDIE-FICATION on any of our social media platforms. This promotion continues for all of June with one draw on Thursday, June 30th. The winner will be announced immediately after advising the said winner. Any overseas winner is asked to kindly transfer their winning to a relative or friend who lives in the state of Grenada. I am extending an open invitation to any individual or company tuned in to come on board and assist with our drive to whip up an interest in getting more of our young people to pull up their chair and pay attention to the instructive thoughts and ideas shared on this program as we seek to edify them to make better decisions that would help to shape a better future for themselves and the future security of the nation as a whole. Join me in bringing excitement to our audience with a chance to win something that right their corner in these challenging times. Reach out and touch someone as regularly as you can afford. Of course, due recognition will be given to you for your active partnership in this regard. Thanks in advance.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Welcome to my 81st independent live session and, of course, my 27th for 2022 as we welcome change that has started to take root among us. As I will continue to remind you all, for this change to last, we have to want it to last. We've got to first be the change that we want to see as a people. We cannot become new parasites and new beneficiaries, so to speak. We must agree in the same breath that all old parasites and beneficiaries have got to be flushed out completely, as our island just cannot afford to feed for free stragglers anymore. A big thank you to all of you for tuning in once more. Welcome to the newcomers to EDDIE-FICATION, our 123rd edition, powered by the Grenada Cooperative Bank, Antillian Group, and Country Cold Store, all local giants in their own right. each of which started with humility and are today enjoying a great measure of exaltation by God's grace. Our subject matter today, be the change you seek. This country has been raped since 1995, and the rapists must account. All the ghost companies that have been set up to fleece our coffers, with the allegation pointing in the direction of gathering funds to concrete themselves into positions of authority, must be fully investigated, with a view to bringing the perpetrators to justice. Anything criminal discovered, once the source could be traced and defined, appropriate action must be taken so that future participants in any similar positions of trust would know there are consequences for corruption and bubble. It's just not fair that we are all called upon to be sacrificial and wait it out and learn from the consummate Indians and become new Indians and learn to eat little to live long. But if we do not, we will function at our own peril. And that is why I say this opportunity for change that the majority of Grenadians voted for on the 23rd of June must be taken seriously in the strictest sense of the word. I have warned before of distractions and that we must remain focused for fear that we end up being derailed from the mission on hand. We have a society to clean up. We have a public service to rescue and restore to its days of order and discipline. We have a management of the public service to rebuild and reorient towards normalcy once more. We have loads of round pegs in square holes to put in their places. We have to stamp out the eater food subculture that has taken us over. Loads of changes necessary in order to begin to transform Grenada as per what we voted. Now, there is too much to be done for us to be stuck in defense mode, trying to get even with what people say about us and express how they really feel about us. That's only a distraction tactic. We have to shelve our own egos, in other words, and let real pride in calm mental construct guide how we operate going forward. Many people are bruised by the results of the democratic contest and are reeling from the defeat which their illusions did not see coming. Good folks, they were actually paying attention though. They would have felt it from the time COVID-19 pandemic hit and realized that new thinking would be necessary to take us out of it successfully and altogether thereafter. You see, folks, the same thinking that we went into the pandemic with could not successfully help us to navigate its rigors, a fact that was not observed and embraced because we continued to proceed as if it were business as usual. I recall telling an associate early in the game, confusion, small talk, insults, name-calling, pekong, bacchanal, tebe, and mayhem. All of those things that we are accustomed to being dispensed by our leaders, especially one, would not cut it after this crisis is over. People's mental faculties would need healing and soothing, and one heavy dose of fed-upness would govern the behavior of our people going forward. Folks, you don't need a rocket scientist to have seen that from the time COVID came. But I was telling a colleague, a friend, that people's mental faculties would need healing and soothing. But many of those who were asleep would finally wake up and would want more for themselves. And the old way of doing things would be rejected. But as Voltaire would have said, there is none so blind as he who would not see. Needless to say, I was dismissed by that particular colleague. And so several who were used to enjoying the largesse of corruption and inferiority proceeded unabated. And look where they end up, because they were not paying attention. Many of them are worried about the future, as the new dispensation, in context of the transformative agenda, has absolutely no room for their character traits and their ingrained modus operandi to be dishonest. Some of them are eating their fingernails down to their elbows in nervousness as their free paper bun. You know that old saying? Folks, if change is not going to be embraced by them in the way they do things, they will have to be isolated. And how will they survive? Your guess is as good as mine. I am a member of the general public here, and I can tell you, I am a mild version of what the majority who voted for change would like to see. I've been hearing conversations, folks. Some people are unforgiving, you know. A lot of people are unforgiving. A simple little extreme. They would prefer to not see the Prime Minister driving those two black cars at all, those two black vans. That's how extreme people are. Very interesting, folks. What you're hearing me express here is a mild version of what is out there. And the people ain't making joke this round. If it were up to the majority of them right now, a lot of people would be sent packing for aiding and abetting the wanton marginalization and victimization of level-headed Grenadians prior to June 23rd, 2022. Our people therefore need to be the change we seek, as together we all have a nation to build. Isn't that interesting? Folks, let's just take a little break here and we'll come right back.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Self-as good. So folks, welcome back. But as usual, let me just pay a little respect to those lovely people we have in the room with us. Andrea, hello, my dear. You're such a devoted soul. You're so Grenadian. I really admire you. Lydia, another one. Jillian, Debbie. Who else do we have here? Doris, that's another one also. Wayne, what boy? This particular platform has quite a bit of them. Who else we have? Yulin. Then we have Saratna, my darling. That I'm in such love with this particular lady. She is so focused. She is so resolute. She is so, lady, just strut your way. You look good, and you are just one of my darlings. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Della, welcome. Samantha. Who else do we have? Denroy, Michael, Margaret, Christiana. Bless your heart, my dear. Rena, I haven't seen you in the room in a while, my dear. I don't know if your chair foot break, but you pull up your chair today, so you must have gotten it repaired. Veronica, we have Julia, Alison, Aquino, Sonia. Sonia, you've been a stranger, you know, I have to come. You look like you need a little spanking in that class, you know, because I haven't been seeing you, my dear. So that's on one platform. And then we have Linda, Rachel, Judy, Hazelan, Angela, Rosemary, Cheryl, Janice, Alice, Sawandi, bless your heart, my friend. John, Charmaine, Donna, Winston, Agatha, Dred, Margot, Carrie-Ann, wonderful, nice having you, my dear. Angela, John, Sharon, who else do we have here? Another Sharon, Elise, nice name. Nicole, who do we have here? Hugh, we have, who else? Jillian, Glennis, Alice, Katura, Irva, Brent, Sam, Antha. I just love that, the ring on that name, you know. Silvani. Well, folks, that seems to be it. Sybil, I think I saw Sybil and Margot, Betty Ann, oh boy, Celia, Nelly. Listen, folks, just keep sharing the live and let's get as many people in the room as possible, because this is a new dispensation and we have a lot to share, because some people seem to have a serious problem with jubilation, people jubilating, people happy, people, and that's just not fair, because the people that are happy this round, oh boy, have never been happy for a long time. Oh, give them a break and cut it out. You know, that sort of thing. It's like, well, let's get over it now. No, it's not yet. Not yet. It was kind of like a surprise for a lot of people, all in my case, an anti-climax, because I've been speaking with confidence from the time Deacon Mitchell announced his intention to run. You know, folks, we have to invite, we have to manifest what we would like to see in our reality. You have to invite it and you have to go gung-ho. You have to cut out all the distractions and just go gung-ho, focused on that which you want to manifest into your own reality. And I believe quite a few of us did that, and we helped bring it into fruition. Good. We need to be a lot more positive, folks. We need to be a lot. You know, it's amazing. From the time I started, I launched off on this only positive vibe trajectory. You'd be surprised to know what is coming into my sphere on social media. Only positive things. There are people who screenshot stupid, negative nonsense and feel it necessary to send me in private. I am not interested in that. People will be who they are. I am not responsible for how somebody respond to what I say. I'm not responsible for how somebody think about me. I'm just not interested. How you feel about me, that's your business. I know how I feel about me, and that's what matters. A dear friend of mine told me once she tried paying her rent with the opinions of others, and the landlord said, no, that's not legal tender. He doesn't take those. So when people start to pay your rent, they could tell you what they want, feel, and it matters, because they are now, you dependent on them. But when they're not living on your eyebrow, or you are not living on theirs rather, what does it matter? You just be you, continue to speak, but I'm going to continue to move ahead. So if you want to stand up, stop your life, to focus on and be my guest. Isn't that beautiful? Just be my guest, because the message here is clear. I will continue to make progress with my life, and I'll be fading in the distance, becoming a dot, while you will be still standing there. You will be still standing there, as a lot of people have been. So once we get that, out of our systems, we will start making our own progress. So welcome back. As a Christian community, folks, we should have learned a long time now that we must not let our hearts be troubled or afraid. But this is a choice we have to make. The tail end of John 14:23 did not tell us that someone will make sure our circumstances are perfect so that we can become happy. No. What the tail end of 1:40:27 tells us, in other words, in raw Creole, let not your hearts be troubled or afraid. What it is saying to us, in effect, is that the things upsetting us right now don't have to upset us. The people attempting to aggravate us, even if they don't change, don't have to get through. You see, if only we would make adjustments and change our approach to life, we can be happy in spite of those circumstances. I have stopped a very long time now worrying about who likes me and who don't. I've stopped a very long time now being concerned with what who says about me, whether good or bad. Instead, I am on a journey of positivity, residing in a bubble whose frequency is pleasing to me. I am inviting you to stop allowing negative people and disappointments and even inconveniences to steal your joy. You have to put your foot down and say, this child gets on my nerves. I love him, I love her, but I am going to rise above it. I won't let this control me. Or this grumpy boss jumps down my throat for no reason from the time I reach to work until I leave. But I'm not going to let him ruin any more of my days. That's what it means not to give away your power, folks. You have to be determined to enjoy your life. When last I checked, it's one we have, Anybody ever come back and tell you anything? No. One. Stop being a follower or subscriber to the Jesus industry, where your tithes are demanded so that pastor and family could live well while you catch hell. Be a Christian instead and practice the teachings of the Christ you are meant to follow. Christ was quite a formidable character. There's a whole book in the Bible that is actually dedicated to seasons. Ecclesiastes. There's a time and a place for everything. You remember when Christ almost turned the tabernacle upside down? That was the time for him to be angry, and he was. It was the place for him to be angry too. But you don't have to stay angry, remain angry. No, there's a time and a place for everything. So I want to repeat this. Stop being a follower or a subscriber to the Jesus industry, where your tithes are demanded so pastor and his family could live well while you catch hell. Be a Christian instead and practice the teachings of the Christ you are meant to follow. It was Mahatma Gandhi, a Hindu, who said, if all Christians behaved like the Christ they are meant to follow, the whole world would be Christian. We've just completed a democratic contest in which quite a number of our citizens actively participated, and the majority of people pleased with the outcome of the contest. For the majority, we have been given a chance to breathe easy once more. For the majority, the atmosphere in the state of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada, I want to say it again because it aggravates small-minded people. But the people of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, you can expect a lot coming in your direction because this government is putting you in focus. Remember the old jetty you have up in Petit Martinique? I understand things are warming up to get it repaired, fixed. But the last prime minister choosing wood to walk on and didn't see nothing wrong with that. Folks, come on. So, the atmosphere in the state of Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada feels light and unencumbered as we've never felt since 1995, in that the much needed transformational agenda of the group seeking to advance itself in leadership over this nation have been given a chance to make a meaningful difference in the governance of the nation's affairs. I want the Prime Minister to say it more often. Pity Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada, because the state is Grenada, and it includes the islands of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. But we've been saying it since independence, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and nothing happening to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Well, this is Carriacou and Petit Martinique time. And he better fix it up nice, because I get in older, maybe I might want to retire there too. So fix them up. Fix them up. Because life up there nice and the people nice. Our civilization has been through several ups and downs. In the last 30 years, one political entity dominated power over this nation and presided over the active, listen to this carefully, deterioration of our health, our education, our standard of living and quality of life across the board, the social moray of the entire nation, while the greedy and the vultures were spared the wrath of the deterioration. What a pity that group of beneficiaries and parasites proved to be so minuscule at the expense of the constantly growing needy, otherwise referred to as the poor and vulnerable, that they too claimed they love so much. Things are about to change currently, folks. And we are at the cusp of much needed transformation in order that people's lives are changed for the better. I love the hope I can feel for this nation's youthful population, ably led by a successful local legal mind who's agreed to transition from law to politics as a means of sharing his abilities at upward mobility with those young people whom he genuinely looks like, with absolutely no pretense. We all have to admit that life is cyclical, in that everything under the sun evolves over cycles. There are ups and downs. When the wheel of civilization spins slowly, the period of plenty is enjoyed by some for a prolonged period, while the deprived are forced to remain without for quite a protracted period. Thank God cycles change. The result of last general election proved that it is the time for others to enjoy a share of the national pie on their plates, having remained in the wilderness for such a long time, barring only a short period of 5 years between 2008 and 2013, when even so, not much had changed for them, as the status quo largely remained in place. So while the active supporters and otherwise well-wishers of the current administration remain jubilant over their victory, having been in the political wilderness for so long, it's quite understandable that the losers will be sore. Come on, folks. It's just natural. Natural. The only unfortunate thing here is that it appears to be open season for fake profiles on social media. Oy, oy, oy. And unwarranted attacks are launched left, right, and center against the jubilant. We are seeing attempts at character assassination, with trumped-up declarations against decent citizens, attributing to them blame for the effective dismantling of the inferior authority structure put in place as puppets, with the strings joined together for the one puppet master to pull as and when needed. People voted for change, folks. And it is my prayer and trust that we will truly become the change we seek indeed. You see, those of us who are operating as guards in the gap for this new administration have to be prepared for the mud from the low caste of food-deprived, eater-food sycophants. We have to remember that their opinions of us must never become our reality. We have to stay focused and not allow these cowards who are so ashamed to be associated with their espoused thoughts and views from the gutter, which they know to be wrong, and hence they have to hide in the dark to throw them as punches. Folks, why do you think somebody puts a mask on to climb your window in the night? Why do you think? Because they know what they're doing is not something they want to be associated with. So they hide their identity. Because in real life, they don't want to be associated with jumping your window. That is why they hide in the dark. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Really, really sad. That said, to usher in this free reminder, you have zero control over how other people perceive you. So you might as well just be the person you want to be anyway. Isn't that interesting? That is what speaks to the issue of focus. Since I have made up my mind to follow a positive path, folks, I made a conscious decision to delete several people from my life's journey. To have continued with all of them would have been to remain stuck mentally at a place where I may have been just merely pretending. Because I did not want to blame anyone in my life, I started entertaining the thought that good people will present happiness to you. Bad people, experiences. Worse people, oh God, lessons. Valuable lessons. And the best people, desirable memories. So, our people therefore need to be the change that we all seek.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful.
EDDIE-FICATION.
Wonderful, folks. So let's come right back. I trust that all of you are doing well. And I see my friend Brenda is on. And I really hope you're feeling much better. You're on the mend, my dear. Because you're another one that I just love. I just love the things you post. You know, you're just so focused. Good people. Good people. I see Nat Leslie, you're on too. Welcome, welcome. Elva, you're on. Who else? Who else? Who else? Tahira, you know. Welcome, folks. Grenada Watchman, welcome too. It's wonderful to have you. Sonsi, welcome. Cuthbert. Who else? Jacinta. Wendy Ann. I don't know if I'd call Joseph Moore, but he is just one of those resolute followers. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Who else do we have here? Kanisha. I really don't want to be calling anybody's name twice and three times, so But thank you very much for joining us here this evening, folks. Good, and I trust and pray that this would not be too much of a, a torture for those who can't resist. Because I don't understand. If I don't like somebody, I will not be listening to them. Not at all. Wouldn't be tuned in. A matter of fact, they don't even exist. You see, we have to learn to flit, you know, folks. We have to learn to. But some people are suckers for punishment. Grenada has finally got a proper government, my view, made up of proper people, my view, and I'm fully entitled to it. None of which embezzled the Grenada shipping agents money back in the 70s and ended up leaving a signed paper trail agreeing to repay. And even though they were forgiven, do not have it in their heart to forgive anyone. The current government seem to have no one whose background involves interfering with children's savings union money when they were lurking around the precincts of teaching back when. A government that has no one with the intent to establish a ghost company or companies to collect thousands of dollars per month to clean whatever, to say they're offering whatever services, cleaning services. Company that has not been efficient at all. We know what happens to some people eventually when they get too relaxed in a position of authority. Well, this young, astute Prime Minister that we have today, who is very street smart, must have a plan for his team in order that complacency does not become a part of their modus operandi. I am dead certain that he will take all complaints seriously as he ought to and bring them to the attention of anyone on his team on whom those complaints might be made, especially in the department of hanky-panky. And you know we have a lot. Similar behavior of greed and perceived greed through bubble of all imaginable levels must not be tolerated. PM Deacon Mitchell will do well to declare his total intolerance for any resemblance of anything to the immediate past as intended to be committed by newly installed officials and otherwise extensions of his party. Nothing of those sorts should be tolerated, and people like myself and all others who are willing to remain consistent and true to ourselves must be prepared to call them out publicly when we hear of irrefutable cases, if at all they should arise. Grenada is not a susu, and NDC supporters and operatives must cease feeling, if at all they are entertaining the feeling, that their hand now, they just get in their hand and to hell with the rest. We just can't afford that anymore. Who get their hand already? Hope and pray that all is well, because when investigated, if criminal conduct has been determined, the full extent of the criminal law must be thrown in their direction. No room for repeats under any new dispensation. But you know, since national independence, folks, since national independence of 7th February 1974, we have not had a chance to really focus on proper development, cloaked in the garments of democracy. We have had people posing as Democrats, pulling wool over the eyes of citizens and succeeding in so doing. Thursday, 23rd June, gave us a chance to reconnect to the possibilities that national independence should have brought for us 48 years on. Our people are imbued with hope once more. The public service can tell you they are anxious for a much better relationship with this transformative administration that has shown them goodwill already by promising to restore to them and the teachers their docked pay by month's end. They feel anxious and hopeful that the public service may get its chance to be properly led by appropriate, qualified, permanent secretaries who will be ready and willing to use their PSC rule book, Public Service Commission rule book, not conveniently, but be guided by every rule which will engender in the entire service equanimity, equality, fairness, and thus see a rebirth of professionalism where productivity will be pivotal to the value for money taxpayers receive from all public servants. We have been experiencing a terrible void when it comes to integrity as a value that our people once held high on their list of priorities to operate by. What a pity there are so few people who operate with integrity around our local joint. Monkey see, monkey do. And unfortunately, with the challenges our people have been introduced to over the period 1995 to June 23rd, 2022, people have instead traded in integrity for total dishonesty, passed off as smartness, which has been leading them to a false sense of prosperity. Folks, it is high time that we return to the days when your word can count for something, that you can stand up for something if you end up standing alone, that you live by the same standards that you expect from others, that you believe in transparency, that you give credit where it is due, as I normally do, and that you take ownership of your mistakes. I am sure you think it is more than reasonable that our people therefore need to be the change we all seek. You know, a lot of people, yes, we want change. We vote for change. Change come. Change ain't come just so. Change is inanimate. We have to give change life. You look at a beautiful workplace, beautiful bank, beautiful supermarket, beautiful shop, store, boutique. Take the people who are put in there to serve customers. Take them out. And let's all go outside and look inside. What do you see? An empty store. You see an inanimate business place. We folks, we give the place life. We, the service providers, the customer relationship providers, the people in there to serve the customer, we give the place life. What kind of life you going to give the place? What are you looking for today? Can I help you? Or you just watch them up and down? No, we have, that's what goes on in St. George's right now. Everywhere. We have to cut that out. In the same way, if we voted for change, we have to be the change we seek. We have to give that change the right life. Not get rid of one set of parasites and become the next. No. Nothing tal goes so, as the Antiguans would say. Nah. You have to change all that. And we have to be the sacrificial lambs to make that change happen. So our people need to be the change seek. All of us, each and every one of us, because this is a nation of 90 to 100,000 people, and we have to work together to make it happen. So all of you still digesting your eater food from the last 9 years, and for the most part from the last 27 years, I already invited you to take your purge. Take your introspection, your reflection, your whatever it is, the little period of time you had. And hurry up, we have a nation to build because we want to integrate you. We want to include you. Stop finding idle time while you're on the paperwork to make fake profile to stay in the mental construct that you're in, because you're going to be wasting time, and the new dispensation is going to find you out that you're unproductive, and if not for the reason of eating our food in the past, but you will be cut because you will be like a sore thumb standing out in an energized atmosphere, ready for action, and you'll be left out. Put your shoulder to the wheel. Stop eating your fingernails down to your elbow. You are to be included. You are to be included, but you have to change how you think. No more food to eat. Food done. It's Dutch party now. You have to start bringing things to the table. You have to start bringing things to the fete. The largesse is over. We have a nation to build. Imagine 48 years of independence and all we could have done was to just observe it. Pull the blind and observe it. It is time for us to truly celebrate our independence. We have agro-industries to build. We have our own local formal wear to design and to come up with. This slave wearing master clothes nonsense have to stop. Won't be sick when you see people come in a place that they should, in your case, your feeling, they should come with jacket and tie, and they come with a shirt. You have a problem with that. You're going to take care of the hospital bill if you give them stroke in this suit. We are a tropical climate. We should develop our own identity. We're a sovereign country. We must have our own formal. And all this kind of colonial relic nonsense. Going forward, folks, I want to beg the government to change the names of all them streets. Who is Lucas? Who is Halifax? Who is Melville? Church Street could stay because it's symbolic. Church is on that street. Who are these people? Who's Scott? Who's Moncton? Let us start celebrating ourselves. Look, Little Spice Island Beach Resort, 63 suites. Stayed right here on Grandance Beach. Locally owned, locally managed, locally staffed, and locally trained. That is a true symbol of our independence. Cooperative Bank. Grenada Cooperative Bank, yet another. A true symbol of our independence. Belmont Estate. A true symbol of national independence. Tell me the rest. Tell me the rest, folks. Call name, I'm going to whistle. But you're getting the message. They are not enough. 48 years on, and we could only talk about 3 ideal places to call as symbols of our national independence. Folks, oil down is alleged to be our national dish. You have to put on Columbus clothes to find one in Grenada. You have to discover it. Go to Trinidad. Everything Trinidad can be gotten 24/7, 365. Go to Jamaica. Everything Jamaican to eat could be gotten 24/7, 365. Go to Barbados. Cuckoo and flying fish, 24/7, 365. Anything Guyanese, 24/7, 365. Here, you're smelling 3 months ago oil, still frying chicken. That is all. That's the national dish. Chicken. Chicken. Chicken wings all over the place. Barbecue. Barbecue. Folks, we have no proper identity as a people. The only identity we have is for Bacchanal and Tebe, and to take, make fake profiles and see how we could mash up people. We're good at that. As a matter of fact, we have 48 years of independence doing that. It's a mess. Folks, we got to get with the program. We got to get with the program. You see, we have a lot of work here to do. But if we are more concerned about people's business, how are we going to do the work? Yeah, somebody say KFC. as a symbol of independence. KFC. We got to get with the program, folks. We have to stop all this mockery, all this nonsense, and let us build a true Grenada. Let us build a true Grenada. Good. So let's take a little break here, and we'll come right back again, as per usual, to conclude.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. So, folks, we really and truly have a lot of work to do here. Somebody said, I got a nail down today, but only one place in Grenville, and early. We had to get it, otherwise you wouldn't get it. How national could that be? How national could that be? You have people coming, and I'm going to be full for carnival, and I had to order things, you know, to be able to, you know, so that we know, well, on this day we're going here, we're going to have this. There's a lot of nonsense. We're supposed to just pick up and go and get something local, something that is indigenous to us, endemic to us. Not this kind of set of macaroni pie and a set of old nonsense. Which tree macaroni does grow on? God has put our food in our geography, and we should be proud of our food. We should be eating our food, and we should be promoting our food. Good. We have, look at breadfruit. Breadfruit is seasonal. Of course, there's some parts of Grenada you can get breadfruit at different times of the year, so which means that if you know where those places are, you can get breadfruit all year round. Good. But that's not my work. We should have had a system. We have a marketing and national importing board. They should have that information. They should be supplying me with breadfruit all year round. You get a message? But oil dung is allegedly our national dish, and we have not, after 48 years, we have not found a way to preserve the breadfruit, to package it nicely, freeze it, so that I can go and buy a package of breadfruit and move with it when I can't get it fresh. There's some people who just can't manage to cut it and to peel it and to clean it. And then they will get that. They can buy that, but at least they'll have breadfruit all year round. They'll have an opportunity to eat breadfruit. There's so many, breadfruit is so versatile. There's so many things we can do with breadfruit. But yet for all, what do? We're waiting for the boat to come, and the boat him bring sugar, and the boat him bring rice. Oh Lord, and never shortage of macaroni, and never shortage of this, and never shortage of... Folks, we idle here, you know. We're very idle. We need to get with the program. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. So we cannot allow what anyone does to push our buttons. For when we allow what someone says or does to upset us, we're allowing that person to control us. Imagine you turning over your emotions to someone so that they can destroy you. When we say to another, you make me so mad, what you're really admitting is that you have given over your power to that person. As long as that person knows you're going to respond a certain way, they have succeeded in distracting you from your focus. Folks, we have to be very careful. Some people who, when they want to destroy you, they know nothing about you, to destroy you. Oh, he? I know he, I used to live on Church Street, and he used to live on Market Hill. We grew up together, I could tell you things, boy. And they're just going, and they're just trying to leave it now to the other person's imagination, because there's nothing there. Isn't that interesting? There's just nothing there. And and they leave it for you to interpret and say, boy, I was talking to that man, I must really joke him up to see what I really could get from him, you know. But there's nothing. It's just the TB in us. They mash up on another culture in us. Folks, we have to understand that when people speak maliciously of you, it is an attempt that they are making to bring you down to their level. That's all. Let it only end at an attempt. What people say about you is correct. You know why it's correct? Because it is coming from who they are, where they are in their socialization process. It is coming from where they are with their education, their level of education. It is also coming from where they are in their stage of personal development. Because who actually wastes time to spend time focused on someone else? A waste of time for themselves. So as long as you keep responding the same way each time you are provoked, you will keep getting more of the same because you are giving them exactly what they want. And alas, they have you where they want you. I've seen loads of things attributed to me, as if to scar my reputation and character. And the truth is, I just don't care. I wonder if they really get that. I don't give a damn. My mother used to recite something for us and I never forget it. As long as I have my shilling in my hand, my sugar in my pan, I don't give a damn. You remember me telling you what Sally says about Jane says more about Sally than it says about Jane. If people are going to spread rumors about you and head into the gutter to besmirch you, you have to use this as testing season to see who believe it. And of course, right off the bat, the people that want those rumors to be true because of how they already feel about you will believe them, as it is in their interest to do so. You don't have to care. What someone says about you is not your business. Press on and remain consistent to who you are, and you will eventually make more converts than reason. Listen to this carefully. Quite a number of people believed that Mr. Nazim Burke had 5 houses, which he got in the 5 years he was in office between 2008 and 2013. But Mr. Nazim Burke remained consistent and true to who he has been. And what eventually happened to all those believers of that nonsense? They were made to look like fools up to this day. One of them who got fed up with the status quo and switched over to supporting the Deacon Mitchell-led NDC and helped them to form the new administration by securing the St. John constituency, told me recently he was one who believed it. He told me some very unsavory things about the mastermind of this Nazim Burke rumor with the 5 houses. People have a right to say what they want, folks. People have a right to do what they want, as long as it is legal. We also have a right not to be offended. We have a right to position ourselves in a position of strength, to overlook it. It is when we begin to get offended and become angry and upset, we change the paradigm. If someone walks into a room and we grow tense, it is because we are putting too much emphasis on what we think that person thinks of us. We're wasting time. What a person thinks or says of us does not define who we are. You are supposed to be worth a lot more than that. Rise above that, as you don't need them to agree with you. You don't need their approval. Let that go. You just be who God made you to be, faults and all. Trust me, you don't have to respond to every critic, you know. If you stop to stone every dog that barks at you, you will never reach your destination. You don't have to prove yourself to them. Remain on the high road and let the master of the universe fight that fight for you. It's not your fight. Responding to critics will never help you because no matter what you say, you will never win them over. Even if you were to change, they will still find a reason to be critical of you. You have to come to terms with the fact that no matter what you do, some people will never be at peace with you. You will irritate their spirits. So all of you who use social media to get back at others, remember to either scroll, mute, beat, block, unfriend, and move the hell on. When you do that, you are showing how much you value your peace. Now, I'm certain that my positive vibes are contagious. I'm very certain about that. They bless others in very unique ways. I can attest to this by several regular personal private inbox messages that I would receive. I am certain for every one disparaging comment made about me, there are 10 positive ones that God has caused to be sent in my direction. And it's not because of them, you know, because those people don't even know about that. But it just comes because positive is strong. You know, good always triumphs over evil. Never mind how long it seems to prevail, good always overcomes it. Evil paraded over this land from 1995 to 2008. It was interrupted for 5 short years, but ended with evidence of a new brand of evil among the agents of change, destroying them altogether and reintroducing a hybrid kind from 2013 to the 23rd of June 2022. This hybrid type almost saw us to our very end. You know, thank God, with the wising up of our nation's youth, it has been extinguished. And the noise we are hearing in the market during its extinguishment is the mixture of the suppressant, muffling it out of existence altogether. And that is precisely why I urge our nation's youthful population to stay awake and remain vigilant to ensure that that evil totally dies. Just a gentle reminder here, you don't have to have the approval of others in order to be approved by the master of the universe. Your job is to be the person God made you to be. So overlook offenses and strife so that you can live in peace and victory all the days of your life. In my case, with only positive vibes. I admonish each and every one of you who are listening right now, each and every one of you listening right now, to keep your strength under control. It's not how proud you are, or how many you can straighten out, or how many people you can prove wrong about what they think of you. No. If you argue with a critic and try to prove yourself, all you're doing is sinking to his or her level. Don't fall into that trap. You are an eagle. You can rise above that. People make the mistake of using character and reputation interchangeably. And that is wrong, so wrong. Character, folks, is who you are. Reputation happens to be what other people think of you. When you take care of your character, your reputation will take care of itself. As I take my leave, I admonish you, our nation's valuable, youthful human resource. Continue to pay attention and mind your business this time around, because this is your time. This is the chance you have been longing for. Transformation is here. Know who to take trusted advice from in the category of citizens, especially over 45 years of age. Not all of them are genuine, and not all of their advice will make sense to your reality. Remember, some of them out of timing. The citizens over 45 whose advice can be trusted and therefore mean well are few and far between. The vast majority of them want you to do things the way they know it, which brought us torment until you helped release yourselves and the rest of us from it on June 23rd, 2022. Young people, be the change you seek. Do not have as part of your ambition becoming a beneficiary or a parasite just to replace those that went before you. No. No room in the inn for any of those categories going forward. The change you fought hard for is not to be squandered. It is to be honed and nurtured so you reverse the ills of the last 27 years and make a brighter future for yourselves and the generations to come. Say no to parasites. Say no to beneficiaries. The country's resources have been ripped enough. Time to move the nation forward together. I am in, I am out, and just before I'm gone, I have some disappointing news for the fake profiles who insist on shooting from the dark. I shall see you again next week. God willing, regular program. Until then, you included, stay safe, stay well, and remain lifted. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, and Tillian Group, Country Cold Store.
Living with the pandemic hasn't been easy, but that does not mean that life has to fall apart. Work, play, and take care of your finances from home. Connect with friends on social media. Host Zoom meetings with colleagues and use Co-op Bank's e-banking to pay your bills and manage your funds. Log on to www.grenadacoopbank.com and sign up for Co-op Bank's e-banking.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to send money to friends or family. E-payments, a swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Children Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
You are offered a wonderful opportunity to win a grocery coupon to the tune of EC $250, redeemable at any of the food fairs. All you've got to do to qualify is like, share, comment, and follow notification on any of our social media platforms. This promotion continues for all of June with one draw on Thursday, June 30th. The winner will be announced immediately after advising the said winner. Any overseas winner is asked to kindly transfer their winning to a relative or friend who lives in the state of Grenada. I am extending an open invitation to any individual or company tuned in to come on board and assist with our drive to whip up an interest in getting more of our young people to pull up their chair and pay attention to the instructive thoughts and ideas shared on this program as we seek to edify them to make better decisions that would help to shape a better future for themselves and the future security of the nation as a whole. Join me in bringing excitement to our audience with a chance to win something that can brighten their corner in these challenging times. Reach out and touch someone as regularly as you can afford. Of course, due recognition will be given to you for your active partnership in this regard. Thanks in advance.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training